Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Eleanor Roosevelt said these great words. Listen carefully. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look around in fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. Absolutely. It is voting day. Everybody go to the polls and exercise your freedoms and rights. Vote today, please. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot on this election day to call in and give us the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. Zeb at the Ranch, and of course, brought to you by our major sponsor that's been riding the horse with us for a long time, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And we really appreciate all 7 locations. And of course, don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Let's try that again. Wheels, turn the dials up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doug, I want you to call back in a few minutes. I've got to hurriedly get some things out of the way, and then we're going to start a little survey this morning. So call back if you would, please.
You betcha, sir.
All right, thank you. Wonderful people at K&R Rental, and they bring us the weather right now. I'm so used to having 1,000 different political spots, and right after this I have one or two. K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn on the Burley-Paul Highway. You couldn't miss them. No way. They've got all the best tools and equipment for rental. All the tillers, and they've got the excavators. They've got all the log splitters to get that wood all split up and ready to burn these cold winter months. You get on over there and see them today. Roger and the crew at K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine this week, but it is going to be cooling off. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies, winds out of the southwest, right around 14 miles an hour, gusts as high as 26 miles an hour, expecting a high of 46. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. For tomorrow, sunny, but it's still going to be breezy out of the west, right around 10 miles an hour, expecting a high of 44, overnight low of 23. By Thursday, sunny skies, expecting a high of 42, mostly clear and 20 for Thursday night. And then as we look ahead towards Friday, sunny skies and 46. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, 47. And for Veterans Day Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. Brought to you by K&R Rental, and they are at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. And the number to give them a call and find out more information about all the tools and equipment you need, 678-3122. Remember the name, K&R Rental. Really good people. I want to remind you, too, that Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, the sale that works for you. 10 o'clock in the morning this Thursday. Yep, they're going to bring the gavel down, and Merv will start the chant at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, the sale that works for you. Thursday sale day at 10 o'clock. Don't miss it. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I've got one other quick note I need to take care of, and that's, of course, this good word for Brad Little.
Brad Little is running for governor to put Idaho families first. Brad Little's plan: invest in our teachers and more local control of public education. Continue to fight against rising health care costs. And tax cuts to create more opportunity for working families. And to keep our economy growing. Here's Brad Little.
I grew up on an Idaho ranch, and I still work on one today. Idaho's where we raised our family and where our grandchildren are growing up. I'm running for governor because I want Idaho to be a great place for them and the best place in America to pursue a dream. I have a plan to improve our schools and create better paying jobs, and I have the experience to get it done.
A rancher, an experienced leader. As governor, Brad Little will put Idaho families first.
I'm Brad Little, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Brad Little for governor. Vicki Risch, treasurer.
Thank you very much. And don't forget, too, Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Oh, my, they take care of your clothes. They know they're expensive, and you should remember, too, you better take care of them, and they will. You stop in there with all your rumply crumplies, and you'll go down to pick them up and find out, holy moly, they look brand spanking new. At Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see Kevin and Cindy today. Caller, good morning, and thank you for calling.
Good morning. It's the Yummy Man with the Senior Junction menu for today, which is stir-fry, egg roll, vegetables, and chocolate cake.
Oh, now wait a minute. Whoa, Joe. It's not just chocolate cake. What kind of really good chocolate cake is it?
It's yummy chocolate cake.
There you go. All right. We will send them over, and if they want to buy a takeout meal, how do they do that?
Just call 208-878-8646.
My friend, thank you. God bless you, Joe, and thanks for all you do for the Senior Center. Thank you very much.
After no political act tomorrow, you'll think you're unemployed almost.
Try me, Joe. Try me. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, take care. I want to do something this morning. I had a telephone call that was kind of upsetting yesterday, to the point where this person said, oh, I think you're dead wrong on your attitude about the governor race here in the state of Idaho. And went on and on and on and on. Okay, I can take that. But then this person said, especially here in the Magic Valley, we're going to see a trend towards Paulette Jordan. So let's see. Let's see. I'm going to call him out on this and on the air, and if I'm wrong, I will take apologies to be given. But I'd like to take a little survey right now and find out who really is supporting Paulette Jordan and who is voting for Brad Little. I want to take a little survey here this hour, so I want you to give me a call at 436-2244. You don't have to say your name or anything, but I want to just hear, when you go to the polls today, who are you going to check behind their name? Is it Jordan on the Democratic side, or is it Brad Little on the Republican side for governor? Let's take a little survey on this, and let's see if I was, like he said, so dead wrong. Okay? Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir, Brad Little.
That sounds very definitive. May I ask quickly why?
Experience mostly, but also he has followed in decent footsteps. I think they've done a good job up there, and I think he'll continue that. He's got some good ideas for the future.
I agree with you, and thank you very, very much for your call. You broke the ice this morning. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thanks. All right, there's the first call. Now, let's keep this going for a little bit and take this survey. Are you going to vote for Paulette Jordan or Brad Little? Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Brad Little.
All right, and why?
He's the most experienced, qualified candidate.
I appreciate that, sir. God bless you again. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, sir. Callers, come on. We'll have some fun with this morning. And as you go to the polls, I want to see who like I said, you don't have to mention your name. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but I am trying to find out who you support. Is it going to be the upstart Paulette Jordan, or is it going to be Brad Little? Call us, and we'll see. Wheels, what do you got over there?
Well, I'm going to put in my 2 cents, and I'm going to say Brad Little.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's because he's a conservative. He stands up for all of our ideals.
Okay.
Our thoughts, and I don't think we need another Democrat.
All right, buddy, answer that phone. I got you down. While I'm waiting for the next call to come in, I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And the telephone number to call these folks, 678-0459. They have literally all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. That's not bragging. That's a fact. They've been in business over 6 decades serving you at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, opening the doors at 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. And also, I want to mention Denny's Restaurant. I really urge you to stop in to America's Diner. They've got 2 locations, 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. You stop in for the best of breakfast, lunches, dinners, desserts, great service, and smiling folks, let me tell you. Denny's Restaurant, it's a great place to eat, and it's the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. America's Diner. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Zeb, me and my dog and cat and horse are voting for Brad Little because he's got the most experience and he's a cowboy.
All right, Bob, I appreciate that. Straightforward. Thank you, my friend. God bless you. Thanks. All right, sir. I'm taking my own little political survey in response to a call I had, and I'd like to know, so far everybody's voting for Brad Little. I'm not going to chastise anybody if they go to the other side of the aisle. I just want to hear, this person said I was dead wrong in my thinking. Well, so far I'm dead right. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Brad Little.
And why, sir? Quickly.
Because he's the only one that's qualified to do the job.
I respect that, and thank you for taking the time to dial this morning. Thank you. So far, that's 5-0, and calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Another call. This is what I love about my audience. They are the best people in the entire world. A lot of talk show hosts have to clamor and stammer for calls, not us. I appreciate you. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Okay, my wife and I are going for Brad Little.
Okay, I've got you down. That's 2 votes, and I respect that. And thank you. Why do you want to have Brad as the governor?
Because the Republicans.
Amen. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your call. Thank you, sir. All right. Calls welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, sir. I've already voted for Brad Little.
Well,
I'm like everybody else. He's conservative, and I think he has the experience to take much better care of us than what she does.
I like the way you phrase that, sir. Thank you very much for your call. You're always welcome here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, caller. Wheels, turn the caller up, please. Okay, we got Brad Little, and why?
Because he's a Republican, conservative. All the Californians coming into Idaho, we don't need another Democrat.
Sir, amen to that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Wow, it's a landslide so far, and I hope that gentleman that called me is listening. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was very open and honest about it. I do not want Paulette Jordan to even get 20% of the vote. I don't like her stance. I don't like her as a politician, and that's my 2 cents worth right now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. I voted for Brad Little because he's the only Republican on the ballot.
You know, why do you like Brad over and above Paulette Jordan? Real quick.
I think because he does have the experience. I just hope that he stays conservative, and I think he's the best qualified.
You know, I know Brad very well, and we've had lunch together, visited and everything. He's been here at my studio many times. I think he's a straight shooter, just like in the days of the Old West. I think you can trust him. He's a good man.
I think so. I'm hoping so.
All right. Thank you for your call, Donna. God bless you and George. Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Brad Little.
All right, sir. And why?
Well, he's conservative. He knows Idaho. He knows how to run a business and be successful. He's a successful rancher. So he knows what it takes for Idaho to succeed.
You know, and
these Democrats that are leaving California and all these high-tax states come into Idaho because it's such a nice place to live and everything, but yet they're wanting to turn it into California in a Democrat state.
Absolutely. And you know, the same thing is occurring in Texas with the race for the senatorial seat between Ted Cruz and that Beto O'Rourke. It's the same circumstances, and I hope Ted Cruz just really stomps on that guy.
Exactly. And I don't blame him for wanting to leave a high-tax state, high-regulation state. I don't blame him one bit. But when you come to a conservative state, you need to assimilate. You can't bring your failed ideas with you and expect them to succeed.
There you go, Doug. Very well stated. Thank you, sir. I've got another one waiting. Thank you very much. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Are you going for Brad Little or Paulette Jordan?
Well, me and my bride are going to go for Brad Little.
Okay.
And the reason I'm doing it is I'm not stupid.
Nobody ever insinuated that you were, Jerry. You're as sharp as a tack, let me tell you.
Okay, you have a wonderful day. May the Lord bless.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Right now I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat because I hope that guy that criticized me is listening this morning, because right now it is 13-0. Okay, call me up. Let me know. Little or Jordan, who are you voting for today? Let me know. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, with Nick Greenwell and all of the great physical therapists. Yep, I'm going back over it again this afternoon. Got another schedule, and going to be there. They're helping me a lot on a leg that was severely injured here not too long ago, and I really appreciate all their efforts. And they also have that hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in this area. So please call for an appointment today at 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, my wife and I are both going for Brad Little because we watched the debate on TV, and Jim.
No, go ahead. Finish, please.
And Brad Little actually brought it from the heart. You could tell he knew what he was doing, so we're going with him.
Thank you, and that was very well stated, sir. God bless you, and have a wonderful day, and be sure and go vote. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, sir. Thank you. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hi. 2 from my house. They're going to vote for Little.
Okay. And you sound very definite when you said that.
Very definite. She don't know nothing. That is great, I know. But she talks and talks and talks and doesn't say a thing.
You know what I like about you? Every time you call in, you do not chase the rabbit around the bush. You stomp him with a broom and you say, she don't know nothing, and I like that. Thank you.
I'm too old to chase the rabbit anymore.
Well, I wait for the rabbit to come to me too, my friend. Thank you.
Have a good day.
God bless you. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm having a ball with this one because right now it is 17-0. And call me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I really want to see how many numbers we can get racked up. And it really, if you're a Jordan supporter, you can call. I'm not going to ask your name or try to embarrass you. I'm just going to ask you who you're voting for and why. Give me a call quickly, please. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric along with Lennox Products help keep you comfortable and save you money, too. Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering up to $1,600 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases, so call them today at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric, over 6 decades of serving you. You get a hold of them today. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brad Little, because the other one is a front, a farce, and totally unqualified.
Now, I want to discern that a little bit and dissect it. You said she is unqualified and what?
A farce and a front.
I would assume after those words that sound powerful, you really don't like her.
I do not.
Okay. God bless you for your call. Thank you. That's a nice lady. I like her. Calls welcome. We got another one waiting on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Peachy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone to get off the couch, get down to their polling place, and go vote. I'm just about to head over there myself.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you the question we've been asking everybody. Who are you voting for governor, Jordan or Brad Little?
Whoever has the R.
Well, that R would go under Brad Little.
Okay, then Brad Little.
All right. Thank you for your call, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm a Republican ticket. There ain't no way I'm voting for a Democrat.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your calling in this morning. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, remember, everyone, go vote.
Go vote. That's a great war cry right there this morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Caller, good morning.
I'll be voting.
Repeat again. We're walking over each other here, sir. Go ahead again, please.
Yeah, Zeb, I'll be voting for Brad.
All right. I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.
The negative thing I have against Brad is he's voted in favor of that putting gambling in Idaho, Proposition 1, and I don't care much about that situation. Other than that, I'll vote for him.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know, one of the misnomers is that it's going to increase, enhance, and really have like a slot machine on every corner. That's not true. That is not true. We've talked to the Proposition 1 folks. I know, and I've studied the issue. And quite frankly, the bottom line is not gambling. The bottom line is saving the horse industry here in the state of Idaho, which has really been floundering over the last many years. And I'd be glad to talk about that further on another time. But right now we're taking these surveys regarding Paulette Jordan and Brad Little for governor. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
You haven't had a call yet.
Well, then let's have one. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay another bill here with some of our fine folks, and we'll tell everybody about Ark Animal Hospital. Give me a call. Right now, we are at 5, 10, 15, 20 calls in favor of Brad Little, and none for Paulette Jordan. Yeah, I'm grinning. Hey, don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And they are excellent. Minnecache's best veterinary hospital for many, many years. Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, and the entire staff, they really, really care about your animal's health. Whether it's an itty-bitty kitty cat or a great big bunch of dairy cattle, horses, whatever. Mixed animal practice, large or small, they care for them all. Please get a hold of them today. Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. The number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I think I'm probably going to vote for Brad Little. I don't see any sense in wasting my vote with Paulette Jordan because I don't think she's worth nothing. I don't think she can do the job.
You know, sir, I appreciate...
Thank you very much.
No, sir, thank you. The thanks are all back at you. I appreciate your call and taking the time this morning. That means a lot. Thank you very, very much.
Have a good day.
Thank you. God bless you. Whether you have a comment about who you're voting for or not, I appreciate that. Give me a jingle, please, at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587 on this Election Day 2018. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Brad Little.
All right. Why?
I'm more experienced. Never heard of her opponent.
I respect that, and I thank you for your call very much. Thank you. Thank you, and God bless. Be sure and go to the polls. We appreciate that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm not going to hide my prejudiced attitude. Like I said earlier, I've known Brad for a long, long time, and have sat and visited with him, and I've even roped with him on occasion, and he's a rancher, straight shooter, just really a down-to-earth guy. So I'm going to tell you that's my attitude. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, I will be voting for Brad Little.
Okay. And why?
All of the above, and I will add integrity.
You know, I like that word. I like that word. You're the first person to say that this morning. I agree with that word. It does, basically it amplifies what I think Brad Little is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I've got that caller down, and I'd like to hear some more. I'd like to roll this thing right up to the end of this hour to see if we're going to get any Paulette Jordan votes or not. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Dino Septic Service, and they've expanded their business to better serve all Magic Valley. Septic tanks pumped and water and sewer lines installed and sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, liquid waste removal. Ooh, they do the job that you and I don't want to do. And they do it fast, fair, and friendly service to you. All you need to do is call them at the Rupert number, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Dino's Septic Service with the big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I'm voting for Little. I think he knows how to do things right. I believe he's honest, and I hope he gets it 100%. Thank you. Thank
you for your call, and thank you for the time it took to dial in this morning. I do appreciate that. That's why I've said that thank you very, very much. This audience that I've been blessed with during this time slot absolutely is, they jump in. They jump in. And I don't care if it's my lunch bunchers or if it's a survey question like this. I really, really thank you for getting involved in this show. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you very much.
Well, anybody that's going to vote for Jordan doesn't know much. And, my son plays all over the Northwest with his band, and he was in Boise a lot. And he says, I see nothing but Jordan signs. And see, Boise's becoming Portland and Seattle and Los Angeles. And, and they're going to continue to be this way. And if you were to stop them along the street or wherever you saw them and ask them, what drives an economy, it isn't government, it's not taxes, it's not regulation, it's free market capitalism, and that's the reason why the freeway runs hot right now. You can't even drive down the thing. It's full, and it has nothing to do with a socialist, a veiled communist socialist. She's pretty, she's Native American, and she's lots of things, but she's no leader.
I appreciate your call, Randy, and I've got your.
It has a lot of nothing. I'll hang up.
All right, buddy. God bless you for your vote this morning. Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got a neighbor across the road that's got a Paulette Jordan sign up. She's a liberal left school teacher, so I know who she's voting for, but for me and my wife, we're both voting for Brad Little.
All right. You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's interesting. I'll open the phone lines, and I've done this 1,000 times on this program and asked liberals or Democrats to call in and explain their position, and it's funny how the line never seems to get a call. Thank you very much for your call this morning. God bless you, man. Thanks. Let's get a count right here and see where we're at. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28 in favor of Brad Little, and I want to see what we can get at the end of this hour. So give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This doesn't surprise me. I thought that her campaign was very poorly run. I thought that some of the things she said and did were not well thought out. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I got up this morning because there's a vote that needs to be registered. And mine will be for Brad. Also.
And why is that? Let me ask you your reasoning on that, if I may. Go ahead.
Although I am very much one who honors our Native American cultures, the sentiments that I am seeing between our two candidates, Brad Little stands much more for what Idaho has stood for many, many years.
That was extremely well stated. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And call me again. I always enjoy hearing from you. Thank you very, very much. God bless.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Nice lady right there. And appreciate the sentiments and her thoughts. Give me a call, please, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We've got roughly airtime on this first hour, about 15, 16 minutes left to go. So give me a call. I really want to see if we can't hit the 50 call mark within this period of time. We are at 29 calls in favor of Brad Little right now. So give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A lot of big races going on across the country, and I think we're going to see some surprises. And I don't think they're going to be negative. I yesterday had Dr. Gerard Romero on our program, and he seems to think, and I agree with him, with all of his studies that he conducts and all the polling that he conducts personally, I think we may see the Democrats with their tail between their legs tomorrow morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'll vote for Brad Little. He wasn't my first choice. But out of the choice we have now, I'll vote for Brad Little. And the reason being, I don't believe Paulette Jordan's stance on anything she says. And the way she tries to answer questions, and I've listened to her on 2 or 3 different radio stations talking, the way she starts off is a textbook for a debate team in high school. She doesn't seem like she has her stuff together. Doesn't seem like she can articulate and get to the point. It seems like every time they asked her a question, she always found another way around it instead of answering the question outright. There was always some other way of getting around it, and that's my choice.
Very well stated, my dear friend. I've got your vote down. Thank you, and I know that you will go vote. Thank you very much.
You better believe it. I'm on my way there now.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. She may be a very nice lady. She may have ideas that might be applicable to our state of Idaho somewhat. But when you look at the two people and two personalities, Brad Little, a man that has been around serving our state of Idaho for quite some time, and he has his own thoughts on various things as to how to tweak, change, and or enhance. And this lady, she hasn't shown anything to me, and she hasn't told me anything that would make me want her to have that chair inside the governor's office. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's not slow down. Let's see how many we can get in the remaining time in this hour. We are at exactly 30 in favor of Brad Little. And on the other side of that coin, none for Paulette Jordan. That makes me feel good. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, quickly, give me a call, please. I want to remind you, while I'm waiting for you to call, Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley and 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location. And they are Idaho's premier Bobcat and Doosan equipment sales, service, and parts, and rental dealership. Absolutely. All the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales. They've got all the Bobcats with a special deal, 0% interest, up to 60 months on the Bobcats, all shapes and sizes. Get in there today and see our friends at Barry Equipment and Rental in Burley with one, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli, and the Nampa location, Barry Equipment and Rental. Calls. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I really would like to hit that 50 mark, so if you can help me push that through, give me your thoughts about who you're going to vote for governor today. There's quite a few different races that I wanted to highlight on my program this morning, but I thought we'd stay with the governor's race. And this gentleman that had called me was emphatic that I was dead wrong and that Jordan was going to win in a landslide over Brad Little. Evidently, somebody forgot to tell the land to slide, because so far it's 30 to nothing. Give me a call quickly, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go through the weather quickly, and then we'll take some more of your calls. I want to get the survey up real fast before the end of the hour. Please call. At Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, Dr. Shane Hunsaker has just joined Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell as hearing specialists for you. Oh my goodness. They are the best at what they do, and they can help your hearing problems. So please call today for an appointment, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, serving you. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine this week, but it is going to be cooling off. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies, winds out of the southwest, right around 14 miles an hour, gusts as high as 26 miles an hour, expecting a high of 46. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. For tomorrow, sunny, but it's still going to be breezy out of the west, right around 10 miles an hour, expecting a high of 44, overnight low of 23. By Thursday, sunny skies, expecting a high of 42, mostly clear and 20 for Thursday night. And then as we look ahead towards Friday, sunny skies and 46. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, 47. And for Veterans Day Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, and brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Wonderful people really caring about your hearing health. Get a hold of them today. Make an appointment. Number to call, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. We both voted for Brad Little.
So
he is much more the conservative.
Let me ask you, you said voted in the past tense, so you've already been to the polls, is that correct?
Yes, we have.
Let me ask you real quick, for you that have been there, what are the lines like, or what are the numbers of people? Can you give us a little update on that?
It was very early at our polling place, so I think there'd only been one, maybe two other couples that voted ahead of us in ours. but they expect more to be coming in right away.
All right. Well,
Having a little bit of difficulty this morning.
I tell you how much I thank you for your call. It meant a lot to me. Thank you. God bless you, and have a wondrful day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. We are at 32. We're at 32. I'd sure like to keep pushing the envelope on this and then tell that person if he's listening this morning. I guess it would revert back to a little childhood phraseology and song that goes, na, 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 na. Anyhow, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And there's so many. Oh, here we go. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Oh, it's me again. I just arrived at Hayburn offices, and the side parking lot is 100% full, and there's a bunch of cars in the front, too. So that's my report.
You know what? That makes me feel really, really good, because in years past, and you're well aware of this, we've been begging people to go vote. And when you start telling about full parking lots and everything, man, that makes my old heart feel pretty good this morning. Thank you.
For sure.
All right. God bless you.
Let you know things later. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Folks, honestly, this is such a great thing to hear. That we're having, like that lady said, full parking lot and people in line to go vote. Absolutely excellent. Wheels, do I have another call coming in? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're perfectly fine. I had another gentleman that had called in. He didn't want to come on the air, but he said that he voted for Brad Little too, so I'd imagine that'd make it 33 or 34.
It does, 33, and I appreciate your diligence on that. Thank you very much. And the call number is 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What's happening here this morning also tells me something else. I got to share this with you. It wasn't that long ago I was in a business, and a gentleman that I was trying to get his business on the air, to be honest with you, on my program. And he said, well, nobody listens to talk radio anymore. Really? Really? I think the callers that have called in on this survey already this morning, that man had better pay attention and pay heed, because the callers are here. And talk radio is alive and well. Thank you. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, my husband and I are on our way to vote, and we're both voting for Brad Little.
Well, thank you. And
definitely the most qualified person.
Thank you. Let me ask you real quick, and you don't have to tell your name or anything, but what area are you going to vote in, and do you think it's going to be filled up, or are you pretty excited about the turnout? Give us a little talk about that.
Well, there's usually a pretty good turnout where we're out. We're just west of Burley a little bit.
Okay. All right, so you're headed in my direction. Well, God bless you and drive carefully, and thank you for calling this morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Nice lady. All right, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I didn't vote for my wife a while ago. She will vote for Brad Little later in the day.
All right, so there's another vote for you. I like the way you said that, and you live in danger when you say she will vote for Brad Little.
Well, you know, she will vote. She's very studious about that.
God bless you.
And one polling place that I was in, where I went in earlier and went by a while ago, there's probably 20 cars out there now.
Oh, my.
So, hopefully people are turning out. Looks like they are better than usual.
You know, I appreciate your information on that, and thank you, sir. You've been a great caller on other subjects. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for your call.
Hey, Zeb?
Yes.
I think this lady should be given some credit. I think she stuck her nose out there to at least put herself out on the deal with some different ideas, and I voted for her, Zeb, because I think Idaho needs a little bit of change.
Well, and I respect your opinion. I respect your vote, even though you are one of severe minority this morning. But, like I said earlier this morning, I'm not going to degrade you or give you any kind of static at all. I'm going to say thank you for your call and your honesty. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb.
You bet. Thank you much. So now the score is 15, 30, 35, 36 to 1. Okay, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've got about 5 minutes left, and I'd like to get as close to that 50 call mark as I could, so please give me a jingle. And tomorrow, I want to tell you on the program, tomorrow in the first hour, I'm going to talk about a newspaper story on the op-ed page in our Times News that really infuriated me. And the author of this article lives here in the Magic Valley. And don't miss the first hour tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. So I'm not going to give any more hints away, but it's going to be the first hour tomorrow. And I'll look forward to hearing what you have to say. Callers, come on, give me a jingle real quick, please. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, I'm going to tell you to be ready for anything with the best of tires from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. They've got all the tires for the mud and the sleet and the hail and the snow. Ooh, I hate that word, snow. And they absolutely have them for your cars, pickups, SUVs, tires like the Reputation tire, their best passenger all-season tire. Superior performance, very quiet ride. Check it out today, along with all the best in brake service and front-end alignments, shocks and struts, and batteries. You heard Gina say it's going to start getting down into the 20s at night. Woo, cold. You better check it out today at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning, and thank you for calling in.
Yeah, Zeb, I just come out of the voting and got my vote in and everything. I went Brad Little, strictly Republican, all the way down the line.
And I don't know what polling area you were in. If you don't mind telling us what area you went to, how busy is it, or was it becoming?
Okay, yes. I talked to the lady there who is North Idaho, or North Burley. Yeah, okay. Anyway, North Burley. And the lady there said that they had people sitting in the cars before they even opened this morning, waiting to get in there. There was maybe 30 people in there when I went in and voted, and there was more cars coming in when I left.
Oh, sir, thank you. You made my day. Thank you so much for your call.
Yes, it's really looking good out there.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work, bud.
All right, thank you. I'll sure try. Appreciate it. You know, in years past, and I've lived here since 1969, I'm an old man, and there's been begging of people to go to the polls. This sounds really optimistic to me. Really optimistic to me. Whether it's the enhancement of going to vote for the propositions 1 and 2, or whether it's the governor's chair, or whatever race you're really interested in, please go vote. I've got time for maybe about 2 more calls. Give me a jingle real fast at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Quickly, I'd like to hear from you. We are at, let's see, 15, 30, 35, 37 in favor of Brad Little. Caller, good morning, and thank you. You're on the air.
Good morning. Always glad to hear from you.
Thank you.
And I'm for Brad Little, and Idaho is a great state to be in.
God bless you. Chris, it's always such a treat to hear from you, and you've been such a community person all your life, helping other people, and thank you for your comments here this morning. Thank you. I got one other call I got to get on. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Nice lady right there. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, are you counting early voters?
Yeah, I am. Go ahead, please.
Brad Little.
All right, I've got you down.
2 of us.
Oh, I've got 2 votes there for Brad Little. All right, thank you, and God bless you for your call this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that puts us right now 35. We're at 40, and this is my last call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. I'm voting for Brad and red all the way. Yes and yes on the other thing.
All right. Well, you are very much appreciated for calling in this morning. Thank you for taking the time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You do the same.
Thank you. Okay, there we have it. The poll is over. 5, 30, 35, 40, 41. Oh, I'll take one more real quick, real fast, go.
Hi, I'm voting for Brad Little.
I've got you down. That makes 42 people in the last 40 minutes. That's pretty doggone good. Thank you, sir, and enjoy a great day. I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
You bet, sir. 42 to 1. That ought to concern the Democratic Party just a little bit. Just a little bit. Right now, the man we've been talking about, and this will be the final word on politics for this season. Here now, if you would please, Wheels, the word for Brad Little.
Brad Little is running for governor to put Idaho families first. Brad Little's plan: invest in our teachers and more local control of public education. Continue to fight against rising health care costs. And tax cuts to create more opportunity for working families. And to keep our economy growing. Here's Brad Little.
I grew up on an Idaho ranch, and I still work on one today. Idaho's where we raised our family and where our grandchildren are growing up. I'm running for governor because I want Idaho to be a great place for them and the best place in America to pursue a dream. I have a plan to improve our schools and create better paying jobs, and I have the experience to get it done.
A rancher, an experienced leader. As governor, Brad Little will put Idaho families first.
I'm Brad Little, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Brad Little for governor. Vicki Risch, treasurer.
I want to say this quickly before I go back to Wheels for the news. Each and every one of you that took the time to call this morning, and roughly there were about 43 callers in the first hour. That's amazing. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be back in about 7 minutes with more Zeb at the Ranch. And a good morning to you on this election day, 2018, and I urge you, I'm imploring you to go to the polls and vote. Please, very, very important election today, not just here, but all across the United States. Please go vote. Too many people have given their blood, sweat, tears, and their life to ensure that you can go vote. Go vote. Want to say a big thank you to our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and they've got all the tires you need for your vehicles. And don't forget, too, our Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation folks at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our guest on the line in just a few moments, one of my favorite people, Frosty Woldridge, but right now, this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, so you're going to host Thanksgiving this year, and oh my goodness, you started looking around the house. We got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of that. We can't keep this. We got to throw that away. Get a dumpster. Yeah, get a dumpster. They've got them in various sizes, and they'll bring it out to your location. You fill it up, which I could easily do, and they'll come and get it. I'm telling you, you call Western Waste Services. They are always at your disposal. 734-6969, Western Waste Services. Real quick, too, we want to remind you about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Service you can trust. Absolutely. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering up to $1,600 $1,000 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases. Call them today. 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric, over 6 decades of serving you. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. My friend, here he is. I'll tell you what, I've got the absolute most respect for him, his writings, and his thoughts and philosophies. Frosty Woldridge, good morning on Election Day 2018.
Well, good morning, Zeb. I hope that everyone listening across the country, and certainly there in Idaho and the Northwest, really gets out and votes today for the person you think is going to serve our country and serve your state and serve your community the best. It's so vitally important that we maintain this constitutional republic by our participation. So thanks for making that happen, and I know that you're educating all of the voters out there to vote for the best for their communities and their state, and certainly this country in total.
I got to tell you this, Frosty. Last hour was our first open forum hour that we have every day, okay? And I asked the listeners at approximately 8:13 this morning to start calling in with their choice for governor. Would it be Brad Little, the Republican conservative, or would it be Paulette Jordan, the Democratic liberal? Now get this. In less than 44 minutes, we had 43 phone calls, 42 for the Republican Brad Little, 1 for the Democrat.
That's a good sign.
I was amazed at the number of people that called in, and I absolutely thank them. But I hope, and the reason I brought this up to you, is I hope it's indicative as to what happens nationwide.
Well, I certainly do, too. You know, when you have a choice between somebody like Maxine Waters and or a Nancy Pelosi, there's no choice whatsoever. You can't go that way if you have a rational mind, that if you're actually a critical thinker, that you have an understanding of what those two characters do and what they have committed throughout their careers in the Congress. It's time to get rid of that old dead wood that is vacant not only in the interior but the exterior, and to bring in individuals who are sharp, who are articulate, who know what's going on in this country and want to make America a better place for all of us. And that can't happen when people vote for the likes of certainly Charles Schumer, the likes of Maxine Waters or a Nancy Pelosi or a Dianne Feinstein. We need leaders that are up to date, who are thinking for and acting for America and the American citizenry, and not some of this unbelievable stuff that you hear that these two characters or 3 or 4 characters have advocated for over the years. I am dumbfounded that anybody can mark down the ballot for a Dianne Feinstein. She's 80, I think 84, 85, 86 years old. She's completely out of the loop of reality. Maxine Waters, certainly Nancy Pelosi is close to 80-something. And they aren't wise, they aren't smart, they aren't in touch with what's going on in America. And look what's happening to places like New York City, and look what's happening to California. So please, we have to have new, fresh, mental, educated, and articulate representatives in the Senate and certainly the House of Representatives of the United States.
You have written about this subject for so long in your career, and I dare say that there's nobody across the United States that knows more about illegal aliens and the immigration problem than you do. But right now, I equate it to good and evil. We've got a lot of people that are saying, no, close the borders and nobody get in unless it's through a legal fashion. But then we have the evil on the other side. Quite frankly, your Democrats, whether it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or whether it's Gillibrand or whether it's Gillum running for the governorship of Florida or Stacey Abrams running for the governor's seat down in Georgia. We've got these people that I am shocked. shocked that they've got the kind of support they do, because it scares me as to where America might be heading.
Well, I want to really echo that, and you have to understand, we've been importing minority people from Africa and from Asia, and of course we've got over 15 to 20 million illegal aliens from Mexico in our country right now, and they're voting, and those minorities are not so much minorities anymore. In fact, the Latinos will be the new majority by 2042, and so it's not an accident that you're seeing more and more of these African Americans or Honduran Americans or certainly Mexican Americans are voting for people like that governor, the first black woman from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
This lady, she couldn't pass a ninth grade math test, let alone a history test or an English test, and yet she's running for the governorship of Georgia. And again, that Gillum guy, the guy is a crook. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's a cheat. He has nothing to offer Florida. And you sit here and you wonder how he's even up there. Well, guess what? It's because all of those illegal aliens and all of those legal immigrants that are coming into our country, they're going to vote for their own. They're going to vote for not excellence. They're going to vote their emotions. They're going to vote for black, or they're going to vote for brown. They're going to vote for Hispanic or African American, because that's where they are. And you can't blame them, because they don't know anything else. They don't know that incompetence cannot run a country or a city. Again, why do you think Detroit fell? And I know you all have read, more than likely, The Tragedy of Detroit that I wrote back in 2009. Coleman Young was the governor, or was the mayor of Detroit, and he absolutely took it down and trashed the entire Detroit, so it failed. 1.2 million Americans, mostly whites, left that city. So you're going to see more and more of that white flight as you see more and more incompetence get into office and start running these cities into the gutter. I mean, look at Baltimore. Anybody can see Baltimore's now like 70 or 80% African American, and it's run by people who just are incompetent. And they don't have the education. They don't have the ability to competently run a city, competently run an educational system. If you look at Chicago, I mean, Chicago's pure proof of that. I mean, am I right or am I right on this thing, Zeb? I mean, it's just common sense.
Well,
we're literally voting the worst and the very worst into office, because you've got voters who are simply coming from these foreign countries that don't have the education or the smarts or the intelligence or the ability to understand what it takes to run a country successfully.
Well, I think you would agree with my statement that I'm going to give you when you asked me the question. I think it's not really a matter of ethnicity or race or color of your skin. It's belonging to and supporting a very liberal stance that has brought major cities in this country on the edge of an abyss that they're going to fall into and never cure themselves, like San Francisco, like Chicago, like what's happening in Florida. Can you imagine, with the populace and the power of the vote in Florida, if Andrew Gillum gets the governorship, and how that's going to have a big part to play in future elections with a socialist bent? This is really dangerous.
Well, it's not only dangerous, it's a guaranteed failure. There was an interview by some lady going around on the social media last week and asking everybody what they thought of socialism, and then they all said, "Oh yeah, we've got to have redistribution of income, and we've got to have everybody equal, and we've got to have equal pay for everybody, so that everybody is brought up to the level that makes everybody equal." Well, then they ask them, "Well, do you know the manifestations of socialism? How exactly does it work?" And out of the dozen that she interviewed, not a single one could tell you exactly what socialism did and how it operated. And so what you see here is people out there, young people, that really don't understand the workings of socialism. They only want the benefits, and they don't want to understand what it costs. And, of course, we all know that socialism has never worked, just like communism has never worked, unless you work it out of the barrel of a gun, which is not an exciting way to work anything. So that's what you've got for an electorate out there, and they're voting emotions, not intelligence. And so if that voting of emotions, or because of the color of a person's skin, like a Gillum down there in Florida, we're all in trouble across this country.
Well, let me just throw this out, because, boy, you've touched a subject that is absolutely one of the hot buttons for me. And that's the part of the Declaration of Independence that says all men are created equal. That is true, and we all have the opportunity, underline that word, to go out and make something of our life, go out and achieve something, and absolutely use the talents that God gave us to be successful. But with the all men are created equal doesn't mean that we all should live in the same equal squalor and basically for our hard effort give it to somebody else. That's not what it means.
You know, we're all born equal. That means the equal opportunity as a human being to manifest yourself.
Absolutely.
To work and
Absolutely.
become educated, and then you have the ability to choose. I would say this, Zeb, and every person listening to this broadcast, what do you think would happen to our country if every House of Representatives member was like a Maxine Waters? Or every House member was a Nancy Pelosi? Or every House member was a Dianne Feinstein? Or every senator was a Gillum? Or even that African-American lady down there that's running for the governorship of Georgia? I can tell you this. I don't think we would survive even a year of that kind of leadership, because it's simply incompetent. And when you have incompetence, then you have breakdown. It's like affirmative action. If affirmative action is the most racist mandate in this country, because it literally takes somebody, the color of their skin, it literally impacts and is more important than their ability to do the job. And then once they can't do the job, the rest of us have to suffer, and we all have to do twice as much work. That's the kind of things that are going on here. And so when you get these politicians that are incompetent into these extraordinary positions like a governorship of a state, holy catfish, talk about we're in trouble. We're in major trouble. And that's what's really happening across the country right now.
Absolutely. And then on the southern borders, and Wheels, we got a little bit of feedback there, if you would, please. Then on the southern borders, we have a caravan that is approaching slowly but surely to point their finger at us and say, America, you're not going to stop us. We're coming in. And here's the key words that they use at a lot of their interviews. We want what you have. And that offends me more than anything else. They want to come in and take it instead of earning it.
Well, that's exactly right. And again, if you see, that's why, President Trump said we need a merit-based immigration policy. We want people who really love this country, first of all, that they wave the American flag, Old Glory, rather than the flag of their country.
Right.
That they participate in a positive way, pulling in the same direction as we, the American people. That's not happening. And that hasn't happened now for the last 20 years. That's why we have so much dissension in this country. We've got so many people. Does anybody think that a Muslim that comes into this country from Somalia or Sudan or Ethiopia or Congo has anything to do with America or the American people, has any commonality with us? And the answer's not on your life. They don't and are not Americans or a part of America. They're simply people that are outside this country that have no commonality, no ethos, no anything to do with this country, and they're simply not educated enough to participate. Why do you think we have such incredible social welfare at over $300 billion a year, taking care of all of these cases? They were basket cases in their own countries. Their countries are basket cases. And all we're doing is setting up a whole new welfare state to feed them and to take care of them as they do absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what's happening to our country.
Well, it is. Frosty, I'm going to ask you to hold over for a couple of minutes at the bottom of the hour, but right now I've got to do a commercial break, and I'll be right with you. Frosty Woolridge on our program this morning, and we also want to acknowledge some of our great advertisers like Forever Green Lawn and Tree Service, and the number to call, 423-6454. Don't forget, Christmas is right around the corner, and if you're dreading hanging your Christmas tree lights and getting up on those ladders or climbing the trees or whatever, give them a call. Let Forever Green's experienced staff help you out, and they can come up with all kinds of different quotes and schedule an appointment to come out and help you with your lighting. And they've got 9 different color options available in LED bulbs. Don't forget our friends at Forever Green Lawn and Tree Service, 423-6454. And we also want to acknowledge, and Wheels, there's feedback on the line, please. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley with Holly Rowe and her very efficient staff at 312-5715, the number to call. If you're a senior that wants to stay at home and yet you got a little problem maybe with some of the daily tasks or the light housekeeping or the errands that need to be run, give them a call. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors, and the number 312-5715. We're on the air with Frosty Woolridge, Golden, Colorado. Frosty, what's going to happen, in your opinion, on the border? I mean, when the caravan gets close, and you're going to have, whether it's 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 people, and they're going to be very pugnacious, and they're going to say, we're coming in and you can't stop us. Right there has to be a definitive answer as to what President Trump and the military is going to do. What do you think should happen?
Well, first of all, the biggest thing that has to happen is that we have, whether we have 10,000 troops down there on the border or more or whatever it is or whatever it takes to intercept these people, the key is to not let them come across the border. That's the biggest key right now. And if we don't, and if President Trump doesn't stop them at the border, then they get in, and then we have to, whatever we have to do in that stupid 1980 asylum order that was passed by the Senate and the House, that people that are asking for asylum, they then get processed. It's going to jam up our legal systems for years. There's just no way to process all these people. And again, I hope every person listening, there are millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people around the world that want to come to America. And the reality is we can't take all these people. They have to live and work where they're planted, where they were born. They've got to fix their own societies. Even the Dalai Lama said the same thing last month. They've got to repair and rebuild their own societies, because we can't take on 10 million, 50 million, 100 million refugees, because that's how many there are out there. And again, I would absolutely make sure that anyone listening, please join numbersusa.org and the carryingcapacitynetwork.com and certainly capsweb.org. These are the organizations that are working and giving and empowering you to make sure we do stop all of this immigration into our country. We cannot continue with the 1965 Immigration Reform Act that's just literally just completely overwhelming us with 1.2 million immigrants every year. This can't continue. We've got to stop it, and you can only stop it if you get empowered by joining organizations like numbersusa.org. And because otherwise, you and I, Zeb, have almost for 20 years now have been telling the facts, giving the understandings, giving the appreciations, and I've written 2 books. My third one will come out in March of next year. It's impossible to keep taking all of this immigration from all over the world. We simply are going to sink ourselves, collapse our society, and turn ourselves into a third world mess. And that's what's coming if we don't stop it.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Let's stop there for a minute, because you hear these liberal bleeding hearts get out on television or on radio broadcasts or write stupid op-eds to the paper condemning you and I as bigots and hate mongers. Why? Why can't they understand that we can't be the sponge for every country to absorb their people? And then sooner or later, like you've said very eloquently many times, we're going to end up in the same shape that their country was when they left. We can't do it.
That's correct. I mean, let's just say, here's Somalia, a bush country with bush people, with illiteracy at 99.9%. And they're starving over there. I mean, they're starving. They've got AIDS killing everybody by the millions. Over 15 million Africans have died of AIDS. And so we're going to save Somalia? Well, we'd have to save Somalia and the Congo and then Ethiopia, and then we'd have to save Sudan, because those people are starving to death. If anybody has looked at all, look at the huts and the hundreds of thousands of people just living in huts over there without a toilet. They're starving and they're dying and they're reproducing and at an extraordinary rate of speed also. Can we save them? Somalia is on course to add another 30 million people by the mid-century. I mean, that's the reality. So can we save them? Can we save all those Somalians? And the answer is, if we brought them all over here right now, what are we going to do with them?
Yeah.
There's no way to give enough food and enough housing, and there's no way they can work. They don't have the intellectual capacity or the educational capacity or horsepower to function in a first world country. That's why people like Maxine Waters is a complete intellectual idiot. And Nancy Pelosi, who should have a brain, is suffering from dementia. She doesn't have the ability to function as the House of Representatives, and yet she could get the speakership if she gets into the majority again. And that's just not the way this country is going to succeed. It's the way this country is going to ultimately collapse under this extraordinary, I said it in one of my columns, the most destructive force for 21st century America is legal immigration. And that was in a column I wrote 2 weeks ago. That's what we're facing, Zeb. And if we don't stop it, if the American people don't stop it, we don't have enough guts up there in Congress to stop it by themselves. Otherwise, it would have been stopped a long time ago, just because common sense tells you we can't keep absorbing these unbelievable numbers of immigrants into our country.
Yeah, okay, let's stop there again, because I want to make another point about the border closings and the use of our military. This is, I think, the biggest issue right now for Trump, and he is in the spotlight, or he's going to be in the headlights, one of the two. If he's in the spotlight, he's going to stop this problem before they come across the border. If he's in the headlights like a deer, he's going to weaken on this, and then it's all over. If you let these people in, they're going to keep coming like a rolling caravan, and we're in trouble.
Well, we are already in trouble, because the very fact that a guy like Gillum can actually get any kind of vote
True.
And have any sign of support there in a place like Florida, or that, whatever her name,
Stacey Abrams over in Georgia,
lady, going for the governorship of Georgia. You've got two people that have no business running an entire state. They have no competence or ability to even appoint people who will take care of the school systems, or take care of the road systems, or take care of the water systems, or take care of all of the functions of government. And then once that happens, you've just got a state that's just going to turn into the same thing that happened to Detroit.
That's right.
Under Coleman Young, who was absolutely the most incompetent, corrupt mayor of a major city in the world. You're seeing the same thing with Rahm Emanuel. Even if he was competent in Chicago, look what's happened to Chicago. The Democrats have driven that, not only the state of Illinois, but the city of Chicago is turning into a third world morass. And that's the kind of thing that this mass immigration is pushing onto our society. You can't keep bringing in people from the Congo or from Somalia and think that the state of Minnesota is going to survive it, because at some point there will be more Somalians than there are Minnesotans, and once that happens, you have ultimate collapse. That is what they're facing.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something right here, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a quick commercial break, and I want to come back, and I want to talk to you about the disease factor. I want to ask you about that and see if I'm way off base. Stand by, Frosty Woldridge, and I'll finish up with him in just a moment. Don't forget, too, our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, the manager, his family, and the staff, serving you and your family. And they know the solemn responsibility that they have to provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort, and always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, and Joel also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, and we've been telling you about them for quite some time, about the great big harvest sale that's going on right now. Listen to this. No money down, no interest on credit, up to 48 months on approved credit, and 40% off the retail prices on furniture and mattresses and dining sets, motion furniture, bedroom. Oh, my goodness, you better get in there today at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Oberlin in Burley for this great big, it's really huge, harvest sale and 40% off at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We have a caller with a comment, and we'll take the call and then get back to Frosty. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, since Frosty was on last week, I got talking to a Hispanic businessman here who's a customer of mine, very good man. And sometimes he gets a little upset with what Frosty says about what's going on. And I says, yes, but do we want illegals or not? Or do we want them to be legal and come through and be vaccinated and safe? And because this man has children and he lives around the corner from me. And so in the end, he agreed that we need a legal process, because the way the business in America right now in southern Idaho, we've got to admit we've got to have Hispanics working. But we need them here legally and honestly, and they need to be paying their taxes. And of course, we both agreed that we need to get rid of the criminals, MS-13, anybody. And then if they're on welfare, they don't belong here. We need to get them out of here. So he is Hispanic who kind of disagreed with what Frosty had said, but in the end, he was agreeing with everything I said. Now, we know we got to have them, but we got to have it legal, and we got to have control over it. We can't have them running across the border and invading us.
Yeah, very good point. Frosty, if you would please respond to the caller. Thank you.
Well, the caller's right on. In the Bracero program and the H-2As, are all the vehicles for legal work coming into Idaho, and I'm all for that. If you're legal and you've had your shots and you can follow directions and you pay your FICA and the employer pays the state and federal and local taxes on that labor, that's great. But the problem is we've got over 22 million illegal aliens in this country. I don't know how many there are in Idaho, and they are absolutely sapping the very foundation of our republic. They're stealing our money. They're sending their money back. They're working under the table. All those employers of the illegals are also illegal themselves, and you're running anarchy in the streets when you could be doing it all legally. H-2A visas, that gives you the ability to bring in all the workers you need. And yet, all those people that are employing illegal aliens are breaking the law and helping this nightmare to continue. And I'm sorry that this, if you're I have quite a few Hispanic friends that honor me and I honor them, because why? We're Hispanic Americans. We're all Americans, and when we're legal Americans, that's what makes our country work. But if you keep letting in all of these illegal alien workers, and I don't care if we need them or otherwise, but they've got to be legal. That's the only way this constitutional republic and this economic system can thrive. Because when you have it going the way it's going right now with all the illegality, You've got all the crime that goes with that. You've got the forged IDs. You've got people with diseases. Look at the new diseases coming into Minneapolis right now, a new kind of polio coming from Africa. These are the things that are absolutely affecting all of us in a very bad way. Whether it's disease-wise or having our schools completely trashed or our language completely inundated with all these other languages, that's no way that our country will survive. So this Hispanic guy, he's upset with me. Well, I'm upset with all the illegality, and I'm just pointing it out as an American citizen. And that's the key here. Either we stand for the rule of law, we stand for the Constitution, and we stand for legal working and legal immigration, or we're simply going to continue into this morass of illegality and anarchy, which is gripping this country right now with 22 million people who do not belong here, who are working illegally and causing all of the problems, along with the anchor babies, which is one of the biggest and worst things happening right now. And yet we're not solving that because the whole of Congress is literally completely sidestepping it and allowing it to continue. It's very frustrating to we, the American people.
Absolutely. And I want to make one last point here, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. But here we have basically a mob that's coming up on the caravan from Central America. I don't see any of them carrying briefcases. I don't see any of them carrying portfolios or files of who they are, vaccination programs that they've had or been through, etc. We know nothing about them. Nothing. And they come to this country and they demand that they put a foot in the United States, and then basically when that foot is here, the other foot follows, and they run helter-skelter all over our nation, eventually getting a lot of our money in welfare recipient payments. I want to know about their health conditions. I want to know who they are. I want to know if they've had any gang activity. It's only common sense.
It's only common sense. And they should have the ability to work a job, but I don't want them working a job that it could be taken by an American citizen. There are still between 4 and 5 million Americans who are unemployed because there's not enough jobs out there. We have to stand for our citizens, black, white, red, brown, or yellow. We have to stand for our citizens first, and places like Honduras or El Salvador or Mexico need to stand for their own citizens first, and not just let all of these people helter-skelter run from their borders or their countries and then simply invade our country. It's not acceptable. I will not sit here and feel sorry for one single one of these people in this caravan. They need to take care of their own countries. They need to stand up for their own countries, and they need to stay in their own countries, and they need to abide by the international law of borders and sovereign countries. This is a sovereign country. We need to maintain our borders and maintain the rule of law. It's that simple. It's that common sense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. They're not going to get a lot of sympathy from me watching the 6 o'clock news when they parade with their kind of a pugilistic attitude of we're coming in and you can't stop us, holding high their flag of the country that they supposedly are leaving because they were oppressed. Don't do that to me because I don't want you here.
I echo you every second of the way, and the key is I hope every person voting today understands that if you vote for the Nancy Pelosi or a Maxine Waters or a Gillum or that other lady there in Georgia going for the governorship, you're just literally voting for your own demise. You're voting for your country to fall through the cracks. You're voting for unlimited welfare. You're voting for people who simply their job in life is to vote so they can get more welfare. I'm tired of paying I work 50 hours a week. I've been working my whole life, and I am tired and sick and tired of paying for everybody else sitting on their butts watching TV all day.
Amen. I'll tell you what, that sums it up, and I'm so glad you acknowledged the fact that we ran a little long this morning, but I appreciate your taking the time to be on our time. Frosty Woldridge, Golden, Colorado, my dear friend. Have a great week, and hopefully next week at this time we'll be able to talk about the election and hopefully good results. Thank you, Frosty.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Zeb.
All right, take care. Good friend of mine, Frosty Woldridge, Golden, Colorado. We got to take some time right now to tell you about Let's Ride. Oh, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And they've got all the new snowmobiles over there. Oh, yeah, a lot of you folks can't wait. Oh, boy, you got your hand on the throttle. You're ready to go. Well, stop over and check out all the great buys. Check out all the new snowmobiles. Check out all the accessories. And if you've already got a snowmobile and need to get it serviced, you better hurry up because snow's around the corner. Stop in. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Yep, this is where the fun is sold. By the way, over in that same area, you're going to find our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Now, we're talking the very best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. They're really dedicated to serving you and very responsive to your needs. Hold on a minute, I'm going to cough. Dadgum cold. Anyway, I want to remind you, all you have to do is just give them a call. Make an appointment at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really nice people. Leads us up to the weather forecast. And, of course, the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. And I'm telling you, Light & Crane gave me a call not too long ago, and he said, you know, there's new sets of tax rates and for individuals and corporations and new deductions, and there's been some alterations of past deductions. You better find out how it affects you, your family, and your business. Get a hold of them today. Make an appointment. They've got offices in Burley and Rupert. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine this week, but it is going to be cooling off. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies, winds out of the southwest, right around 14 miles an hour, gusts as high as 26 miles an hour, expecting a high of 46. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. For tomorrow, sunny, but it's still going to be breezy out of the west, right around 10 miles an hour, expecting a high of 44, overnight low of 23. By Thursday, sunny skies, expecting a high of 42, mostly clear and 20 for Thursday night. And then as we look ahead towards Friday, sunny skies and 46. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, 47. And for Veterans Day Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, Gina, thank you. And brought to you by some really knowledgeable people that can help you, like I said, and your family in business. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, we are going to go to the phone line, and I don't think my wife and I ever felt as bad as we did Saturday night. We didn't make it home in time to clean up and get over there to the great big John Deere days, and I feel like I owe Vic a great big apology. They are super people at Stotz Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. Good morning, Vic. How are you?
I'm good, Zeb. How's it going?
Well, it would have been a lot better if we'd got home in time. It was all my fault for trying to schedule too much in the afternoon, and it kind of was like the threads falling out of a cheap suit. It all fell apart.
Well, you missed a humdinger. There was quite a few people, and as always, the Oaks did a great job, and the ribeye steaks were just fall off the bone delicious, and I think we had a little over 220 people there.
Wow.
Had a great night, and I want to give a shout-out to the Elks because they always do a great job, and Christine and Sherry and Rick and the rest of the crew, they just it's amazing what they do over there, and good quality, and that's what I look for, and it was just a time to thank our customers and be thankful for a successful harvest, I hope.
What were some of the responses, let's say, from some of the farmers and ranchers and folks in the area that really weren't familiar that much with Stotz Equipment Company? I mean, what were some of the outtakes, if you will, from that evening?
Well, I think a lot of them, I hate to say this, but they're not used to the customer service that we provide. It is our culture, and we do things a little differently.
I'm okay if people call me a little backwards. That's okay. I take it as a compliment because we focus on the foundation of customer service, parts and service and sales, and but taking care of your customers and showing them that you appreciate them is something we've always done. And I know it's kind of new here, but we're glad to do it, and it's long overdue because without our customers we don't our doors are not open and our lights aren't on, so we have to be smart and make sure we're taking care of our customers and they feel that they're appreciative and we're attentive to their needs.
I was talking to an old timer that farms back in my area of the Midwest where I was born and raised. I talked to him about 4 or 5 days ago. Excuse me, and we were talking about the new tractors, and specifically I mentioned your equipment company, Stoats Equipment Company, John Deere dealer, and he said, I love the new machinery. I love the new tractors, but he says, I'm having a hard time trying to find the dipstick on some of these new equipment. So how do you go about teaching some of the old-timers to drive all the new equipment?
Well, and that's a great point because there's a lot of changes. A lot of the things are the same. They still have big black tires, and they still start up and make a heck of a dent in the ground. But you have to make sure that the customers understand the functions of it, the utilization of it, and of course the application of it. If you don't, it's just like a tool in your toolbox. If you don't use it properly, it's not going to work for you, and it's not going to be efficient. And just give you an example, a guy buys a chainsaw, tells him he can do 4 cords of wood with an axe, buys a chainsaw, brings it back, says, hey, won't cut any wood. He said, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm doing the same thing as you told me. So the guy said, well, let me see it. He starts it up. He goes, what's that noise? So there you go. If you're not using full operation and you're not starting that baby up and getting it hooked up to the right tillage tool, whatever the case may be, and you don't understand the full usage of it, then yeah, you're wasting. It's not as efficient as it should. So a lot of our time is spent on training our customers. We're just going to start doing clinics during the winter now, whether it be GPS systems, AMS, it's going to be tillage, it's going to be balers, it's going to be hay, you name it. We have to educate it's our job to educate our customers.
When you say that, it brings to mind, like, I am very fortunate, and I hold no punches back. I bought a brand new John Deere tractor from you. I love it. And I want to make sure I take care of it. I want to make sure I do everything right. What about service, maintenance, and everything through the winter months to be prepared for next spring? Is there anything special that folks need to know?
Well, it's just like anything, you have to, and I learned the hard way being an Arizona boy. I brought my RV up here and didn't drain the water heater and split my water heater in half the first year. And so the good thing about the tractors, they come with antifreeze and they're ready to go. But the whole thing is maintaining them, reading your operator's manual, looking what the scheduled services are. But a lot of people don't realize we actually have a mobile maintenance service. So it doesn't matter how small or how big. We do dairies, we do municipalities, we do farmers. We'll even do trucks. Heck, for the right price, we'll milk your cow. But we'll come to your place and we'll maintain it and get you on a quarterly, monthly, yearly, biannually, whatever you want to come out and service it, make sure everything is done correctly because you have a huge investment there. You really do, Zeb, and you want that to last for years. And that's a good thing about a Deere. You don't see too many other brands of tractors that are still sitting out there after close to 100 years. They're still just as pretty as they were the day they bought it.
I talked to a gentleman this past weekend up in the Marsing area, as a matter of fact, and he's got the exact same tractor that I bought. And I said, well, tell me, how do you like it? And he says, I wished I would have been able to buy this tractor 10 years ago. It saved a lot of time and effort for me. So I'm very appreciative of what I've got. And, for somebody that has a smaller operation, you really do have different types of tractors that are going to be able to fit into the smaller spaces but still get the job done.
Absolutely. So that's the thing. We're very versatile, and like I said, if we don't have what we'll get it. Chances are with our 25 locations in 8 states, we can find what you need, and if we can't, we'll go out. As long as it's good quality, we'll go out and get it for you. But we want to make sure, just like I told you, I want you to sit in that seat and make sure it's the right one for you. We brought out 3 models. And it takes a little extra time, but I want to make sure it's the right one for you. And with John Deere's financing and all the incentives we offer now, we make it affordable for everybody. If you're on a budget, hey, we can do 60 months, we can do 72 months. We'll do everything we can to get every every incentive and every discount out there for you. And if we can't, we're going to be honest with you, and we're not going to lie to you, and we're not going to tell you, hey, this is something we can get and we can't. So we're going to be up front with you. And like I said, I don't want you to buy anything that's not right for you.
Well, and the one thing I got to say is that no business anywhere at any time can operate efficiently without a good staff. Holy smokes, the people that have helped me, like Ian and Curtis and Jake, the list goes on. You've got a real great staff.
Yeah, we do. The guys up here, and I can proudly say that we have not let go one person since we've taken over. And I really think that it's a matter of us working with our employees and showing them what the culture is, because if you can't show them the picture of what's expected and hold them accountable for that and teach them and train them and it's really simple what our culture is, and it's taking care of the customers. So allowing them to always err on the side of the customer is something that's natural, and we have a great team here. The other two stores are doing well too, don't get me wrong, but I just think that our store is they have that inclination to always take care of the customer, and they jump on it and take care of it. I'm very proud of my guys here.
You know, I had the opportunity to go with Jake and Curtis and Ian to breakfast not too long ago, and I'll tell you what, anybody that was at the John Deere Days the other night and they had an opportunity to sit next to Curtis, when he starts up with that fork and knife, look out, baby, it's all over.
Yeah, we we kind of have that linebacker mentality. So if you say something, you give us an order, man. We're already jumping through that hoop. So sometimes we got to slow down and make sure we got it right. But no, as far as eagerness and just jumping and getting it done, yeah, we got a good group here.
I'll tell you, Vic, I always enjoy visiting with you. You're up, you're positive, and that's exactly the personality of Stoats Equipment Company. Your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland and Burley. It's true, they make your life easier. Vic, have a great week. Thank you.
You too, Zeb. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. These are nice people, and boy, believe me, I wasn't even knowing that I was going to buy a new tractor. Really, I didn't. And my lovely bride said, you know what? You need it, get it. And so I did. The greatest thing I ever did. And the service has been absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer. I want to remind you, too, as I covered up the wrong paper here, I want to remind you about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox products that can help keep you comfortable and save you money, too. That's right. Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering up to $1,600 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases. Call them today and find out more at 678-0459. 678-0459. And they can help. They will help. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Easy for me to say. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Over 60 years of service to you. You know what I'd like? Somebody give me a call right now, please, anybody. And regardless of the polling place where you went to vote, give me kind of an update as to the numbers and the people, and if you had to wait in line or were a lot of people in the parking lot. Somebody give me kind of a, I hope, real optimistic viewpoint as to how Election Day 2018 is going. So give me a call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Well, thank you, because that's what I wanted to do, Zeb. I finished voting before the first hour was over, and I was 51 at that time in Hayburn. They'd had over 35 people standing at the door when they unlocked the door this morning.
Wow. What do you think, real quick, I've only got about 30 seconds left, but what do you think was the hot issue this morning? Was it the Democratic or Republican race for the governorship, or was it Props 1 and 2? What do you think it was?
None of the above. I think it's keeping America, America.
Oh, my. I do have that on tape, and I'm going to use that again. Keeping America, America. Thank you, and God bless you for your call.
Blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice lady. Keeping America, America. I like that. We're going to be back in about 7 minutes, and the world-renowned Dr. History has walked into the studio, and we'll have him up next on Zeb at the Ranch. Go vote. We'll talk to you in about 7 minutes. Oh, my goodness sakes. Finally, we got his entourage out of the studio, and they took his cape and his crown and rested it on my desk. He'll be up just a moment later, and that's Dr. History. But right now, Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and, of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. By the way, there is going to be a jam up in less than 2 weeks, one of the best cattle sales anywhere in the Northwest. And that's going to be the Molson, Angus, and Hereford sale, where quality always comes first. It's a huge production sale at the ranch near Parma, Idaho. They're going to have a tri-tip lunch at noon on the 18th, and the sale starts at 1 o'clock. The day before, on November 17th, they're going to have all the cattle on display. Holy moly! This is at 3135 Elmore Road between Fruitland and Parma, Idaho. Absolutely a sale you don't want to miss. A lot of people from this area went up last year. It's a dandy on November 18th. Molson, Angus, and Hereford production sale. Don't miss it. Do you have a lot of flies at your house? No, I got to turn your mic on. Go ahead.
This time of year, man.
Isn't it terrible?
They're sticky. Yeah. Yep. They want to go where it's warm.
And they come into the studio, and you don't see them until you start talking, and then all of a sudden one lands on the microphone, and it's going... You can't hit them on the microphone.
No, that would not be good.
What's going on in your world?
You know, things are good. I'm coaching my 2 grandsons in Little League basketball.
How old are they?
6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So,
and you're coaching.
I'm coaching.
Now, be very honest. Be very honest. It's not easy coaching a relative.
You know, my dad was my coach when I played 9th grade basketball in the junior high, and it was a little hard for him because he didn't want to show favoritism, but yet he still wanted to let me play. So, anyway, it's good. It's fun. I was going to be there anyway, so I just will be there coaching them.
Well, good for you.
So it's fun. Anyway.
Memorable experiences as they take you out and tar and feather you.
That's right. Oh, you know, last week, Zeb, we talked about the freight wagons.
We did.
And I came across something that kind of goes along with that. It's we're going to talk about the stagecoaches and some of the things that happened, some of the events and that took place there. But, you know, the vehicle that really caught the spirit of the American West was the stagecoach. For over 50 years, you know, it rattled across the desert and through the mountains. And really, if you think about it, a stagecoach has been in existence for hundreds of years, if you look back in Europe. So there really hasn't been a lot of change up until the trains started coming across the prairies.
The thing I'd like to say, first of all, before you start talking about stagecoaches, and nobody knows more about stagecoaches than Ray Bagby out of Declo.
Yeah.
But, you know, in the movies and TV, westerns and everything, the stagecoach would come into town and the people would step off the stage and they were all clean and neat.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So basically, you know, staging was dirty, it was dangerous, it was slow, and I've got a few short stories that I'm going to talk about, things that happened there. So there's a guy by the name of Jack Martin. He reined up his team at the edge of a stream, and he was driving stage out of Northern California. Now, the roads were pretty sloppy, it had been raining, it was muddy, but the people before the closest town said, no, the stream's okay, you can cross the stream. Okay, so picture this. It's 6 o'clock on a bright moonlight night in December 1867, so it's dark. And the water was running fast and running high. He leaned over the side of the mud-spattered coach and called out to his passengers, quote, I'm taking her across the creek, so hang on to your hats. Wake up that darn drunk or he'll be falling all over you people.
And then he got a response that was blub, 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 blub.
Almost. So inside the stage, there was a drunk guy by the name of Hamilton, and there were 2 travelers plus 2 Chinese guys. And old Jack Martin just had him. He says, okay, hang on, here we go. Well, the crossing was rough. The hub deep water at one point nearly entering into the coach.
Ooh.
Suddenly, a log jam broke loose upstream.
Oh, no.
And a wall of water came crashing, rushing down, smashing the stage over onto its side, dragging the passengers and the horses downstream in a mass of, well, you can imagine, splintered wood. The harnesses tangled. What a mess. And a moment later, a huge... Folks, I'm dodging a fly here and trying to tell this story.
He landed right on his lip.
Right on my lip. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, stagecoach is going downstream. It's being smashed. You got a log hit the coach. The passengers were out of sight. They didn't know where they were. The drunk guy actually was the only one to lose his life, and he was found drowned about 3.5 miles downstream. So you know it had to be a pretty fast-moving stream.
What river was that in?
I don't know. It's over by Sacramento somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But the 2 Chinese passengers had somehow managed to get ashore and had run to get help. Martin, the driver, was found a mile downstream, and he was okay. The other passenger spent several hours in the water hanging on to a tree because he couldn't get to shore. Well, the next day they found the stagecoach located way downstream on a sandbar.
What about the horses?
Don't know.
Oh.
I'm going to assume they probably drowned because they were in the harnesses.
Yeah.
So they probably could not have gotten away. But transportation in California in 1849, it really grew literally by leaps and bounds, and travel was limited to first, of course, to horseback. Then they used those 2-wheeled carts, those Mexican carts that usually had like one horse or a mule.
Yeah.
And then a few people with privately owned buggies or wagons. That's how the public transportation started. Like just even an old buckboard, they would maybe load up people and take them from one town to the next and charge them so much. But in 1849, there's a guy named James Birch. He began hauling passengers between Sacramento and the mines in an old ranch wagon drawn by bronc horses. And about the same time, a guy by the name of John Whiston began operation of a public coach system between San Francisco and San Jose. Now, his vehicle was an ancient French, they call it an omnibus buggy, and I'm not quite sure what that looks like.
I think, Dr. History, it was where the driver sat up on a high kind of a perch, and it looked like a long wagon behind him with little seats involved in like benches.
Right, I think that sounds right. But he went between San Francisco and San Jose, and he charged $32 or 2 ounces of gold dust for that 9-hour trip.
Really?
So that's kind of expensive, but, the service provided by these men was irregular, it was uncomfortable, but the stagecoach era had dawned on old California.
What kind of amenities did they offer, though? I mean, stop and eat prime rib or whatever?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So here we are, it's 1849. Now, the first United States mail agent arrived in San Francisco with instructions to establish 5 post offices in the state of California. Now, it was serviced by individual riders who had volunteered to carry letters to and from the mines. Now, these lone horsemen soon evolved into pack trains, mule trains, and they were carrying gold out of the mines. And before long, packages were being carried, gold was being exchanged. The pack mules and the wagons then gave way to the stagecoaches. So it just kind of evolved from horseback onto wagons, then to stagecoaches, and the express companies like Wells Fargo and a dozen other companies went into business.
So how many could they hold? I think I've mentioned that to Ray when I had him on the program. I think stagecoaches could hold, 6 or 7 or 8 people right now?
I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
You might be surprised at that.
Okay.
Anyway, so the private stagecoach companies were developing rapidly. The first real stagecoaches in California were 14-passenger, what they call mud wagons, which had been brought across the plains. And before this time, any type of vehicle had been used. They called it a coach. But in 1854, it saw stages in operation to every part of the state of California. They were going all over the place. Now, in 1850, another milestone in California, staging was reached when the first Concorde coach arrived in San Francisco. Those were the nice ones, the Concorde.
Uh-huh.
It had been shipped around the Horn, around South America.
That took a long time.
Oh, yeah, like 3 or 4 months. It came from Concord, Massachusetts. It was a beautiful... it was just a beautiful wagon coach. You know, it was durable. It was rugged, made of the best wood, painted bright red, trimmed in yellow with scenic murals decorating the doors.
Comparable to the Wells Fargo stagecoach.
Yeah, I mean, these were really nice. These were the Cadillac of the bunch.
Yeah.
But the body of the coach, another good thing, is it rested on 2 thick, what they call through braces, or leather straps, and that permitted the coach to kind of rock gently
like
back
this.
and forth. Yeah, when it hit a bump.
Yep.
So... 9 passengers could be seated inside, while at least a dozen more could ride on top. Okay, now that's going to come back.
You got to be kidding me.
That's going to come back to haunt us here in a minute. I got to have a drink.
So you're talking about 21 people.
Yeah, on a wagon. Yeah.
Oh my good, including the driver.
Including the driver. And so the passengers and all these people were crammed inside and outside the coach.
How did they pull all that weight?
Well, here's the other thing: the Concorde coach weighed over a ton. It was so the coach itself was heavy, but it was it was a well-built machine.
And then 21 people.
Yeah.
And evidently, could they take suitcases?
Oh yeah, they had to take whatever they needed, their luggage. So
that's a lot.
It was loaded. Yeah.
Holy smokes!
But then here we have now coming on the scene. We have the stage driver, and this the drama of the stage driver and the coach was coming into existence. And these guys were a remarkable breed. They held a position of popular, almost reverence. You know, when they walked in the room, people got quiet, and they reveled these men as being the top heroes, really, in a way.
The stage driver.
The driver,
Really?
And the driver, they say he prides himself in being expert in his profession. Now, a money tip from a passenger would be regarded as an insult by a stage driver.
How things have changed.
But he would graciously accept a cigar or a glass of liquor.
I see, but no money.
No, don't give me any money. Now, one of the most famous of the California drivers was a guy by the name of Hank Monk, who had driven a guy by the name of Horace Greeley.
Uh-oh, go west, young man.
Yes, and he was the editor of the New York Tribune. Well, the story is told that Greeley told Hank, he says, I got to be in Placerville by 7 o'clock tonight. So Hank Monk, he took off, and as the stage rattled over the narrow mountain roads and faster, pretty soon Greeley cared less and less about what time he got there as the fact that he was hoping he just got there. Because Hank Monk got him there on time. Okay. Another driver, Charlie Parkhurst. Have you heard that name?
I have.
Well, this will remind you, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Was another California legend who drove stage for many years, known as One-Eyed Charlie. After receiving a horse kick in the face, Parkhurst eventually retired to a small farm and passed away in December of 1879. When friends came to prepare the body for burial, it was discovered that the former stage driver was a woman. Charlie was.
Oh, you had that story on about a year ago.
Yeah,
and Charlie was a
woman,
transgender.
No, she was a woman.
Oh, okay.
But she was a heck of a stage driver. But anyway, then there's a guy named Curly Bill.
I read stories about Curly Bill.
He was kind of a tough guy, and you'll see why.
He was mean.
He once yanked an Army officer out of his coach for insulting a lady passenger. The soldier was ejected with such force that the door frame came out with him. So you didn't mess with Curly Bill.
It sounds to me like he had kind of a temper problem.
Okay, so here we go. Here's another one. A bad man by the name of El Macho. Now, doesn't that fit?
El Macho.
El Macho. He came riding up to a guy by the name of Watts on his stage one morning in 1858. Galloping alongside the coach, El Macho poked his pistol into the face of a passenger. Luckily, the pistol misfired. When Watts from the driver's seat objected, El Macho aimed at him, But again, his weapon failed to go off. Enough was enough, and Watts leaned over from his seat and spat out a stream of tobacco juice, which struck El Macho right in the eyes. Okay, Watts then pulled up his coach. He grabbed a shotgun. It was kind of unnecessary, however, because El Macho was frantically soaking his head in a horse trough. Now, I don't know how strong that tobacco juice was, but it was enough to stop that bad man.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. A good old spit of tobacco.
And this is all documented.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Really? So, okay, here's another guy. His name was Ross. He thought it would be funny when he drove so close to an opposition coach that it slipped over the edge of a bluff. In other words, he ran him off the road. Okay, he abruptly stopped and he was laughing until an irate passenger from the other wrecked coach came over and shot him with the shotgun. Okay,
they were low on customer service. Yeah,
but they were they were a profane breed, and they had great pride in the.
Well, did they have shotgun guards? You haven't mentioned that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, as robberies came about, then they started having somebody ride shotgun.
Have you ever ridden on a stagecoach?
Yeah, I have. They're not smooth.
No, I got a picture of one right over there.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, like I say, they were tough, but they had the skill. Now in Sacramento, if you can picture this, Sacramento, here's 20 or 30 stagecoaches drawn up in front of a hotel, ready to get started for the day to the mines or wherever they were going. So here comes a bunch of passengers out. They're mingling with the animals and the coaches, trying to find their stage. Okay, because each stage is going to a different place.
And they didn't have them marked or anything?
Well, I don't know how they did it, but somehow they had a man there, a person to direct them. Said, okay, this one we're going here, this one we're going there.
He was called the stage master.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so they get into their seat. Now, here's an interesting term I had not heard. They called these guys, they called the reins ribbons. Have you ever heard that term?
I got to be honest with you. Of all the books I've ever read and everything, I thought that. What do you keep waving at me for?
I just try to get your attention.
Okay.
They called them.
I've heard reins. I've never heard ribbons.
This is called the men who handled the ribbons.
Really?
And that's a term that I had not heard before.
Okay.
So anyway, they get on. They've got either a 4 or 6 horse team. In a few minutes, the stages are ready. Now, again, I mentioned there's competition between the stage lines, and these clerks are running around trying to get people to get on their stage for the best prize.
Well, I was going to ask you, what did it cost to take a stage?
Oh, well, I mentioned that one was $32, but that was for a 9-hour ride.
Okay.
So it just depended on how far. Now, there is one story that's told about a guy who was sitting in the stagecoach, and he was going to go to where he was going for $5.
Okay.
Okay. A guy from another stage came over and said, "Hey, I'll take you for $4." Okay. So he got out and got in that stage.
But it was the wrong way.
No, they were both going to the same place.
Okay.
So then this guy comes back and said, "Hey, I'll take you for $3."
Oh, boy.
So he gets in that stage.
I see.
The other guy comes back. Hey,
this guy's getting tired.
He's going back and forth.
Yeah.
Goes to the next one. "Hey, I'll take you for $2."
$2.
Okay. Then the other guy comes back. "I'll take you for $1." Finally, after moving back and forth between stages, the last guy says, "I will take you for nothing." And he said, here's what he said, quote, "Well, old fellow, he finally puts in, sorry to make you so much trouble, but get back in here and I will carry you for nothing, pay for your dinner, and give you all the whiskey you can drink on the way."
Well, that would appear to me when you say that the stage operators weren't very good business people.
Well, he didn't make anything on that,
You can see why.
Yeah. But, a holdup was perhaps the most dramatic incident in early California. The stagecoach trip, there would be a variety of other hazards, but getting robbed was, obviously one of the hazards.
And there's something I want you to elaborate on a little bit. The stages, if they had a shotgun driver or not, along with the driver, and the people inside, probably many of them had arms.
Oh, yeah. So
and one guy rides out in front of a stage and says, "Stop, we're going to have a holdup." I question that.
Well, so, and if the elements and the nature and road agents and robbers weren't bad enough, the passengers had to endure poor accommodations, terrible food, miserable roads, overloaded coaches.
What happens if one person all of a sudden raised their hand and said, "I got to go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't cover that part.
Okay.
But, you know,
They
in
didn't
towns
either.
and cities, the stage passengers were usually able to be put up in a halfway decent hotel. But in the mining towns, you know, there wasn't much there for them to stay overnight.
Really?
So-
That's a good question. Where did they stay? I mean,
I'm going to guess they just camped. Just built a fire and just had a campfire and just slept out on the ground. But here's an incident that was kind of unusual. Okay, this is reported in the San Joaquin Republican newspaper out of Stockton, California.
San Joaquin.
Oh, San Joaquin. Sorry. Okay, under the heading "An Ugly Customer." And it says, the following narrow escape was recorded a few nights ago as one of the California Stage Company's coaches was coming down the hill on the Hennis Turnpike. Just beyond the junction house, a large grizzly bear suddenly arose on the upper side of the grade and placed his forefeet on the driver's seat, as though with the intention of climbing aboard. The weight of the monster was so great as to come near overturning the coach, passengers, and all down the hill.
How do you get up there?
Terrified, the horses sprang forward, and the would-be passenger was left sprawling beside the road.
Wow.
Well, you're out in the hills, you know, and this bear just ambles up, and he just got the top of a hill, so he was stopped.
When a bear is ambling, like you said, towards you, and you're standing outside the stage or the door is open, why not just shut the door?
Well, no, this is up where the driver is.
Well, he got up there with the driver?
Yeah, he was up
Well,
there.
then why didn't the driver drive away and let a bear climb up on the stage?
Well,
he
the
didn't have
horses-
any money to pay for the ride.
The horses took off. That took care of that.
Okay.
But anyway, you know, the competition between the rival stage lines was pretty lively in the early days. Most of the time, stage drivers, when meeting on the road, would stop their teams and engage in friendly, if not maybe a little profane conversation. You know, like, you know, right here, a couple of farmers are driving by, they stop and visit.
When you come in here, we've got to really watch your language.
Thanks. But this was not always the case of having a friendly conversation. Sometimes the rivalry became a little too tough. There's a guy by the name of Oscar Case. He was driving coach for the California Stage Company out of Sacramento. He approached a rival stage one day in 1858. Apparently, Case had it in for this other stage and its driver, and he actually rammed into the other stage. The two drivers stopped their teams, and before anyone knew what was happening, one of the passengers grabbed a shotgun and blasted Case, wounding him critically.
Really?
So the passengers did jump in on these things. But, you know, Indians were never really the trouble in California as they were in other parts of the country.
So, like, if you had a stage trip in Arizona, you were more susceptible.
Right, exactly. But there were some serious outbreaks of Indians coming and robbing. And, you know, Zeb, I think I'm going to have to make this a two-part, because I've got some more stories here, and I know...
I'll tell you what I could do, if you want to. We can do a break at the bottom of the hour, and my guest canceled for 10:30, and I'll let you have that extra time.
Great. Let's just... I've got more to go then.
You can buy the cheeseburgers. I'll tell you what, I'll do a commercial, and then we'll send it to Wheels, and then after the break, we'll have you back.
Great. We'll just
I'll
finish it
tell you what, if you didn't fit right into that shirt, I'll tell you. Hold on just a minute. I want to remind everybody, I lost my commercial. Here it is. We have a segment on Thursdays, and that, of course, is Cassia County School Days. And we certainly want to thank the major sponsor, A Child's World, at 1308 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness. It comes on at 10:10 on Thursdays, and A Child's World has all the arrival of new clothes coming in daily. It seems like newborn to size 16, and they've got all the Cherokee scrubs and the shoes, and they've got all the games, the puzzles, and the toys, and the baby furniture, everything at A Child's World. Don't forget, 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you Cassia County School Days on Thursdays at 10:10. Well, just absolutely worked out fine. We're going to have a carryover on the stagecoaches with Dr. History right after this break. Wheels, take it away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
And while we were gone, we are now returning to where the stagecoach was embattled settled with a fight for life with the Indians, and here's Dr. History.
So, as I mentioned, Indians really were never the trouble in California that they were in other parts, like, Arizona, Montana, place like that. But there were some serious outbreaks on record. There's a guy by the name of Jerry Curly Robbins, his nickname Curly. Well, he was somewhat of a celebrity as stage drivers go, not only for his considerable skill while handling, and I'm going to use that term, handling the ribbons or the reins, but because he had a twin brother doing the same thing. So here we go. Jerry was driving a California stage company coach out of Eureka one day in August of 1856.
I've been there. Yeah.
He had no passengers and had just left a place called Hat Creek Station when he was suddenly surprised by a hail of arrows from an Indian ambush. With a yell, he gave the horses their head and commenced a 17-mile run to the next station, a place called Jack Hills Ranch. Now, 17 miles, Zeb, on a dead run with a horse.
Now, he was with the stage, right?
Yeah, he was on the stage.
This is the part that I wanted to ask you about this morning, is the fact that on TV, the old television show, Wells Fargo, etc., they always showed the stages running the horses at a gallop. That didn't happen.
Oh, absolutely not.
That did not happen.
No. So, with the yell, he gave the horses their head, and they took off on this 17-mile run. The road was rocky. It was bad enough so that it took all of Jerry's skill to maintain control.
And the Indians are after him.
Yeah. And he was too busy to notice that there were some arrows sticking through his clothes. The coach bounced over boulders and over rocks and everything until suddenly one of the through braces, which is that leather thing that the coach rides on, it snapped, and a moment later, the coach and the horses parted company.
Oh, look out, like in the movies.
Now, Jerry was pulled to the ground, but luckily the animal stopped, and he got to his feet. He unhooked the team from the stage. The Indians were obviously after the horses. That's all they wanted. They didn't want the stage. Anyway, he got on. He mounted one of the horses, and he took off and left the rest behind. But he was determined to save his stock. He didn't want to leave them behind. So during this whole fight, there were arrows coming at him. Picture this, okay? He's on one horse trying to save the other horses, and arrows are being.
It's like a It's like a Wild West political convention.
I guess. Anyway, so like I say, he jumped on the back of one of the horses, and he rode the whole team into this place called Hills Ranch, and a short time later, the station attendants lifted him from his horse and quickly asked to get a doctor to tend to his 16 arrow wounds.
He had 16 in him?
Yeah. The Indians had burned the stage.
Good thing it didn't rain.
Oh, but Curly, he lived to drive some more.
No, 16 arrows?
So they must have just been little arrows.
He must have looked like a turkey when he got there.
Oh, man. But the real terror of the stagecoach days were the accidents. And although stage line officials did all they could to play down this part of the business, wrecks were frequent enough that they sometimes just were ignored. It just happened a lot.
They had to use common sense because those stages, I would imagine, were very top-heavy. The one I was on,
And again, we mentioned overloading was indeed a primary cause of accidents, as many of the old newspaper accounts attest. In fact, when the Auburn stage arrived at Folsom one day in May of 1856, the driver executed a sharp turn in front of a hotel. The coach was top-heavy with baggage. You asked about that. And midway in the turn, the coach flipped over on its side, smashing into the sidewalk.
And what about the passengers?
They just got out and lifted it back up.
I see. I was glad they could drop in.
Yeah, and another report in a paper called the Sacramento Union reported a similar accident in 1857, said the driver drove his team at what was described as, quote, a furious pace. In other words, he was going like heck. And as he turned the corner at a place called Hunton Street, the coach flipped over on his side and smashed things generally, that's what they said. The driver held onto the reins, kept the horses in check, and within 10 minutes the coach had been righted and was on its way as if nothing had happened.
And it didn't smash it all up?
Didn't hurt it. No.
Really?
But
what about the people inside?
I don't know if there was anybody in there or not.
Oh, my goodness.
But now here again, narrow mountain roads, which were the majority. they weren't very wide.
Yeah, and they were rutted, rocks.
And these were, just an accident waiting to happen. Now, here's one of my favorite stories right here, because this you could throw into a television or a movie, all right? Is the winter of 1855, a California stage out of Shasta was plunging over a bad stretch of road when the driver was suddenly thrown from his seat.
He got thrown off. The horses immediately ran away and stampeded down the road at what they say, a frightful pace. In other words, I'm going to say they were going like heck. The outside passengers jumped off. So the guys on the outside, they just bailed. On the top?
Yeah, they bailed, okay? And it looked as if there would be a bad smash-up with the inevitable crash. Okay, so get this, Ed. This is a TV moment.
Okay.
One of the inside passengers was an off-duty messenger for the Pacific Express Company, a Mr. Lusk.
Okay.
As soon as he realized the situation, Lusk climbed from inside the coach to the driver's box, and from there he jumped onto the tongue of the stage. From there he jumped to the back of the rear horse and gathered up the reins and managed to stop the coach with its passengers.
Wow.
Now, that is...
Just like the old John Wayne movies.
Exactly. That's what I thought of, but it really happened.
Holy smokes.
So, but, aside from wrecks, a stage trip could be a pretty miserable experience. Now, picture this again. Summer, heat, 9 passengers seated in a coach on a hot summer day. One can kind of imagine the discomfort when a weekly bath was the normal and no deodorants. Okay. Now, whenever a stage came to a steep grade, the passengers were made to dismount and continue to the top of a hill on foot. They had to walk.
Okay.
Okay. And men on particularly steep grades were asked to help by pushing on the rear of the coach.
Yeah.
So you had to help. Now, bad as stage travel could be in the summer, winter was even worse.
Oh.
I mean, the coaches and the teams, they fought the mud.
It must have been cold inside.
Oh, yeah, the winter streams. A particularly rough winter trip took place in December of 1874 between Reading and Eureka. Now, here's what happened. Twice, this coach sank up to the wheel hubs in mud. In other words, half the wheel is buried in mud.
And you're not going anywhere.
And the passengers had to get out, walking through the mud to get to solid ground. So you can picture this. But, about a mile and a half past what they call the Slate Creek Station, just after dark, the driver misjudged the distance on a bridge, and the right wheels slipped off the bridge. The coach fell sideways off the bridge and into this little gully, landing on its top, landed upside down.
So it landed upside down, and the driver was going, oops.
Yeah, darn.
Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah, and the passengers, the male, they were all in a big tangle of arms and legs.
Didn't kill them?
Well, miraculously, no one was seriously injured.
Really?
And the driver finally managed to get...
But they're laying upside down in the water.
Yeah. Well, it's a gully, so they're not really in water. It's maybe
you say gully, I say water. They still tipped upside down.
They were upside down. Anyway... So, obviously, there was no way for them to get the coach back on the road. It was decided they would have to walk back to the last station.
In the snow.
In the snow and the mud, a mile and a half to get help. So, off they went into this pitch black night. They didn't have any flashlights. So, they're slogging their way through mud in darkness. Well, as they're going along, some lights were sighted off in the darkness.
Uh-huh.
The party assumed it was the station and headed toward them, only to find they'd been led away from the road by the campfire of an Indian.
Well, no, that's not all bad.
So now they're lost.
Now they're really in trouble.
Well, not really, because the Indian was a friendly guy.
Oh.
So the group finally reached the station, and the driver took some men back out to the coach, and at dawn, the stage was in front of the station ready to go as if nothing happened. So it didn't really destroy the stage. It must have been a well-built stage.
I'm thinking of all the programs that you could do on the clothing of the Old West and the footwear of the Old West and the guns of the Old West, all attributed to these stagecoach drives.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's a Mrs. Bates, she recalled a story back in the 1850s, and here's what she said. She said, one night, about 11 o'clock, she wrote, a lady came into the hotel at Marysville looking more dead than alive. She was leading a little girl about 11 years of age who was in the same plight as her mother. They were both covered with bruises, scratches, and blood, with their clothes torn and dirty. They were coming back from a place about 40 miles from Marysville. The coach was all enclosed, as it was a rather cool night in the mountains in the evening. All at once, they found themselves turning somersaults. The coach was overturned down a steep bank. The driver was seriously hurt, and so were some of the horses, but the inside passengers escaped without really any serious injury. So it amazes me the accidents that people had that didn't really kill them, you know? I mean, they were inside no seat belts.
Holy smokes. And when you're inside those coaches, again, because both you and I have been inside and on stagecoaches, going over a hill or an embankment or a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be thrown around like one of those lottery dice.
Yes. But, even under good conditions, freak accidents could occur. In 1874, there was a stage out of Reading that was traveling at a very slow pace because it was a dark night. Mm-hmm. Well, lanterns on the side of the coach were burning pretty bright, but because of the steam racing from the horses' backs, and you've seen that on a cold night, the steam will come off a sweaty horse.
Sure.
So it was kind of a fog was formed that kind of obscured the driver's vision, and he drove his coach off a small bridge. Luckily, the little gulch was shallow and no damage was done. So even going slow, accidents happen. But stage drivers were a lot of times injured or killed in the line of duty. There's a guy named Harry Lee was driving stage out of Big Valley one day in 1884. It had been raining all day, and when he came to a place called Oak River, he determined to try and cross, even though the stream was swollen, it was dangerous, it was fast-moving.
Why would they take the chance?
Well, several people at the crossing tried to persuade him not to attempt, but he just, I think there's some ego involved, a little pride.
I can do it.
I can do it. So he was determined to uphold his record for bringing his coach through on time, and he had too much confidence in his ability. He didn't want to let a little water scare him off.
A little water. Okay.
Well, he had a difficult time crossing the same stream at a lower ford that he'd done earlier. But he took his team out into the rapidly rising current, despite the horses having to swim.
Oh, my.
Now you see how deep we're talking.
He's in trouble.
Yeah. So the stage had almost made it across when it hit a sandbar. Lee was thrown into the water. He was carried downstream and drowned. That was the last trip for him.
He didn't get a chance to brag about that trip.
The horses managed to keep their heads up until a man actually rode out from the other side, cut them loose from the stage, and saved the horses. And luckily, no passengers were drowned either. They made it as well. But the driver, that was his last hurrah.
Yeah.
Okay, another guy named Bill Sulloway. He was driving stage towards Sacramento. He was thrown off his seat, and between the feet of his horses when his coach had hit a stump in the road. Well, he managed to hang on to the reins. Now, picture this, Zeb. He was being dragged along the ground under the stage, hanging on to the reins while his horses are going. Okay? Well, one of the wheels passed over his body, and he lost his grip.
Well, no, that's kind of an obvious statement.
The horses promptly ran away and were stopped only when the coach tipped over on its side. Some of the passengers were injured and jumping from the coach, but those who had stayed inside weren't hurt.
What about the driver, though?
Well, it just says that it doesn't say he died. He just got run over by his own stage.
Just run over by a stage.
He was probably just back.
Here you were on top of the world on that stagecoach, and the next minute, you got a great big tire or wheel going over you.
Back to work the next day. Yeah. Now, another driver bringing his coach down a steep grade discovered that his brake was not working. Now, for our listeners out there, know that all these wagons had brakes.
Yeah, and that's an oh darn move.
Yeah.
That's an oh darn moment.
Yeah, he discovered he had no brakes.
Yeah.
His stage was descending a place called Myrtle Creek Hill.
Oh.
When the block on his brake came off, the horses ran down the hill with the coach. Nipping at their heels.
Look out.
When a curve was reached at the bottom, the stage plunged off the road. And this was sad. Wall's lifeless body was discovered some minutes later, crushed under the hub of a rear wheel.
Wow.
So it was dangerous.
So it was not exactly a long-time career good job.
It was not. It was not. I've got a few more stories. Do we still have a little more time? Or what do you think?
I just we've got about 2 more minutes, and then I've got to do a weather forecast, and I want to re-urge everybody to go vote today. But what we ought to do is get you and Bagby on the same program someday.
Yeah.
And talking about the stages, and then he could talk about how they're built, and then you could talk about the wrecks, and I'll just sit here.
Okay, do I have time for one more story?
One more story.
Okay. One of the giants of California staging was a guy by the name of J.B. or Bob Crandall, and he was fatally injured while driving a stage out of San Francisco. It was a dark, moonless night in November when the horses suddenly stepped off the road into a small gully. Crandall tried to pull the horses up, but in so doing was jerked from his seat, and he fell down among the rear team, the horses, right in front of the stage.
Yeah.
As he struggled to get to his feet, one of the animals kicked him, and Crandall's head was smashed against the wagon tongue.
Oh.
Okay, the capsized stage, he staggered out from underneath the horses, and although his head was bleeding badly, he checked the passengers first to make sure that no one was hurt. Then, after looking after the mail, Crandall unhitched the horses, tried to lift the coach. The men couldn't get the stage up, so Crandall walked 7 miles to his home and got help. And while washing his bloody head, the veteran driver collapsed, and 3 hours later he was dead.
Oh, my goodness.
But
he saved the people.
Nobody was
I got
hurt.
a dumb question for you. The stage tipped over, right?
Yeah, but they tried to get it back up on its
I know,
wheels.
but why didn't they hook the team up to it and then pull it up right?
That is another good question. They didn't have wrecker service back then, Zeb.
Well, no, but they had ropes and that, and they could have taken couple of the reins. Or why couldn't they use the team to pull it back up?
That seems pretty obvious, really, doesn't it?
Call him and let him know I got an answer for his problem.
He's dead. I'm afraid.
Sorry.
We don't have him anymore.
Okay.
Anyway.
But what did you learn by all your research into the stagecoaches?
Well, number one, it's not the romantic thing you see on TV or any of that stuff. I mean, it was dirty, it was cold, it was hot. You got snowbound, you got mudbound.
I think I could take.
You got robbed.
I could take the heat a lot better than the cold.
Yeah, you got robbed. You had the chance of Indians.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just a lot of danger involved.
Just a typical day for Murtaugh to Burley.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way they were built and everything, I tell you what, folks, when I got on that stage in Oklahoma City, it was for a promotional event at the Coliseum, and they had me ride in as the shotgun, if you will, up on the top of the stage with the driver. Oh, my. You better hang on tight.
Well, and I told you before, one of my bucket lists is to get up to the Calgary Stampede and watch the chuck wagon races.
Chuck wagon races.
Yeah.
Those guys basically are all the same. They're nuts. I appreciate you filling in like this, and I know that you're so well-planned and organized that you have everything all ready for next week.
I do. I just don't know which plan it's going to be. Plan A, B, C, or D.
But the main thing is, on TV and the movies, it's too bad they didn't really depict the stagecoach and the way it was driven, etc., in reality, because they show them coming into town like Dodge City on a dead run and everything.
And just even some of these stories I've told would make a good movie or part of a movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, write the screenplay. And then get a hold of Simon Windsor. He was the director of The Man from Snowy River.
Oh.
And I worked with him in the movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. And get a screenplay all written, and I'll see if I can't get it promoted for you.
I'll work on that.
And I'm only going to work it for less. I'll take 35%.
You're a good man.
I know. Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate it. God bless you. Dr. History every Tuesday right here on Zeb at the Ranch. He's getting ready to wrap up and go. Is it cold outside?
It is.
It is cold. Okay, thank you. We got to get a weather forecast on here right now, and the weather's brought to you by Scarrows Meats at 331 North Road, Jerome, with Don Scarrow and the crew. You can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com, and the number to call, 324-7657. Delicious meats. whether it's the marinated pork ribs or the tri-tips or the any kind of beef, pork, and chicken, all delicious. Get a hold of them today. Scarro's Meats in Jerome. Here's the weather.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine this week, but it is going to be cooling off. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting sunny skies, winds out of the southwest, right around 14 miles an hour, gusts as high as 26 miles an hour, expecting a high of 46. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. For tomorrow, sunny, but it's still going to be breezy out of the west, right around 10 miles an hour, expecting a high of 44, overnight low of 23. By Thursday, sunny skies, expecting a high of 42, mostly clear and 20 for Thursday night. And then as we look ahead towards Friday, sunny skies and 46. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, 47. And for Veterans Day Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And, Gina, thank you very much. Brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and his entire outfit really serving you with the best of meats, the most delicious of meats, where they always say we're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time from Scarro's Meats. I've got time for a call. Give me a jingle on the landline. I really hope that you are going to vote. It sounds like, from some of the great callers we've had earlier this morning, that a lot of people are exercising their right to vote. I've got time. I'd like to have one more caller, at least if I could, talking about their polling place and the numbers and the traffic, etc. Quickly, somebody give me a call that's voted and let me know what you thought about the turnout in your respective area, if you would please, quickly. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. They've got all the tires to be ready for any kind of driving conditions. That's right. They've got tires for your car, pickup, SUV, trailers, everything. And they urge you to stop in before the weather gets real bad and make sure that you're prepared. Stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. See Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Nobody does it better than your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning. Thank you. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I was in Hazleton at 8:30, and I was number 41, and there was a line in front of me and a line behind me.
Wow. Let me ask you this. What do you think, from the people that you talked to, et cetera, what was the hot issue to vote on? Was it the governor's race, Proposition 1, Proposition 2? What was it?
I think it was the propositions. I'm pretty sure that we got the governor in the bag. So.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it from our early morning hour, the first hour. We took a little survey. Maybe you heard that. I had 42 people say yes to Brad Little and only 1 for Paulette Jordan.
No, I think it was the propositions.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate it, and I respect you for go voting and everything. Thank you very much for that report. Thanks, and have a great day.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. You know, I just hope and pray that there is an excellent turnout. And that one lady that called earlier this morning, I just can't get that out of my mind. I asked her, I said, what do you think it was that motivated people to go to the polls? Was it the governor's race? Was it Prop 1 and Prop 2? And she said, no, it was Americans trying to keep America. Whoa! That was a heavy statement, and oh so true. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. I'm going to be staying up really late tonight to get all the information, and then getting up really early tomorrow morning to give you all those races and the final outcome on the races that we can get a final outcome on. I'm sure many might have to go a little extra to count all the votes. And along with that, we've got Dave Bigo, we've got Rabbi Sparrow coming on, we've got Rachel Alexander, we've got one of my favorites, Maria Espinoza. All of that that on tomorrow's program. And then I want to also leave you with this. If you'll go to my website, zebbell.com, and you want to get my weekly cow pies and coffee cups, be sure and put your address. We have had so many people ask about getting that blog. It's weekly. Go to zebbell.com and give us the information. We'll get it to you. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back at 8:06, and we'll ride the horse for 3 hours right here on Zeb at the Ranch on KBAR 1230 and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And we always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. Please go vote.